Assalamualaikum and hello. In this video, we are going to continue about formal charge. Actually, we are going to relate the formal charge with the Lewis structure. So that's why in the previous video, you've learned about how to draw the Lewis structure first. Barulah awak akan masuk bahagian formal charge. So by the end of this video, you have to know how to determine the formal charge and the most plausible Lewis structure. I'm going to explain later on what is this term about. And the next one, you are going to learn about exception to the octet rule in the next video. So let's get on with the introduction about formal charge. Usually as one molecule, there are two forms that can exist for that molecule. So as you see from this diagram, either diagram 1 and diagram 2, how could we know the best molecule between these two possible structures? That's why we are going to use in the same case for Lewis structure. So what is formal charge? Formal charge is an apparent charges on certain atom in Lewis structure. So it is very important for you to know how to draw the Lewis structure. And formal charge usually is used to find the most plausible Lewis structure. The synonym for plausible is stable. So sometimes you are given a molecule that can make up several possible Lewis structures. So that's why from those structures, how you want to know the best one, you have to see the one whose formal charge is nearest to zero. So that's why determination of formal charge is very important to know which Lewis structure is the most plausible. So how we want to know the character of the most plausible Lewis structure? As I mentioned before, the formal charge should be approaching zero or equal to zero. And one extra points here, you have to know that the negative formal charge will appear on the most electronegative atom. So this depends on which molecule that you have. In order to know how to determine the formal charge, we have to use a specific formula for that. So as you see here, I got two different formulas, the general one and the simple one. So for the general one is based on your syllabus and you are going to use that in your subjective answer. But during multiple choice questions, you can use another simple formula so that you can save your time. So let's go to the first general formula where to calculate the formal charge of an atom in a Lewis structure, you have to determine the number of valence electrons for that atom minus total number of non-bonding electrons, which is in this case maksudnya adalah lone pairs, and then plus half of total number of bonding electrons, and this case it means bonding pair. So satu lone pair kita ada dua titik, dia bermaksud dua elektron. So that is how you put the amount for that. And then for bonding pair, we use dash. So one dash, it means two electrons. So same case here if you want to put the amount for that. So it means that the sum of the formal charges of atoms in a molecule or ion must be equal to the charge of the molecule or ion. And another way to calculate in the simplest way, I have formal charge on an atom in a Lewis structure equals to valence electrons for the atom minus all items around it. So what does it mean by items? Items hanya ada dua sahaja. Yang pertama adalah dash, mewakili satu item, dan dot, satu dot mewakili satu item. Ini adalah requirements yang awak perlu faham untuk gunakan formula yang mudah ini. Okay, let's try one example by using the general formula, the top one first. example 1, how you want to determine the formal charge for O double bond N single bond Cl. So you are going to separate them into 3 parts. So how to determine that? We will calculate for oxygen first. So as you see here, oxygen contains 2 lone pair as well. So it means that the valence electrons for oxygen is 6 minus with number of lone pair electrons iaitu ada 4 plus half of bonding pair electrons. Kita ada 2 bonding pair, darab dengan 2, kita dapat 4. So total up everything, you will get 0 formal charge for oxygen. Same case for nitrogen. You got nitrogen here, 1 lone pair. So you got 1 lone pair and 3 bonding pairs. So 5 for valence electrons minus with 2 lone pair electrons from here, and then plus half of 6 bonding pair electrons. Maknanya 3 bonding pair darab dengan 2 untuk each of them. So you will get 0 formal charge for nitrogen. And same case for chlorine. You got 3 lone pairs for chlorine. And how you want to calculate the formal charge? 7 for valence electrons minus 6 lone pair electrons from here, 6 dots, and then plus half of 2 bonding pair electrons from here. And you will get 0 formal charge as well for chlorine atom. So that's how you apply the formula to calculate the formal charge on each atom. Maknanya awak kena calculate for all atoms setiap satu persatu. So let's try a few examples here. I got example 2 where NF3. So this is the Lewis structure for NF3. Saya dah draw untuk awak. And what will happen next? I'm going to calculate based on each atom. Maknanya saya ada atom yang sama iaitu fluorine sebanyak 3 di sini. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to differentiate 3 of them by using different labeling. A, B, and C. And the next one, I'm going to calculate the formal charge for each atom. We start with the central atom first, iaitu nitrogen. So my nitrogen, I have 5 valence electrons minus with 2 lone pair electrons from here, plus half of 6 bonding pairs electrons. Saya akan dapat nilai dia iaitu 0. And the next one, I will calculate fluorine for Fa first. I will get 7 minus with the value from lone pair electrons and bonding pair electrons given from here. And I will get 0 for its formal charge. Same case with Fb. I got 7 valence electrons minus with the same case as Fa. I will get 0. And the same goes for Fc. So if you total up all the formal charges, you will get total formal charge is 0. And you have to know NF3 is one of the neutral molecule. Hence, the sum of formal charges of all atoms in a Lewis structure equals to 0. It is a neutral molecule. And the last part, untuk dapatkan markah, sebenarnya awak kena label formal charge awak on each atom yang awak calculate. So you got the value here, all zeros for all atoms. So kita akan label 0 ini dalam bracket, di mana you will have the value like this. So value yang warna hijau ni yang paling penting, examiner akan lihat dalam jawapan awak. But I will teach you how to do the simple way by using another formula, iaitu the bottom one, this one. So for the bottom one, kita ada 2 item, iaitu dash dan juga dot. Satu dash mewakili satu item, satu dot mewakili satu item. So how to do that? I'm going to use the second formula, dan cara ini you can use it when answering multiple choice questions so that you can save the time. So let's try example 3. I got CO3 2 minus. This is the Lewis structure for CO3 2 minus. And what's next? I'm going to calculate the formal charge for each of the atoms in CO3 2 minus. However, I got 3 oxygen atoms here. And 2 of them dalam kedudukan yang sama. Hanya salah satu daripada mereka mempunyai double bond antara carbon. So that's why I'm going to differentiate them into labeling A, B and C. And now we will calculate each of them just like before, but using different formula. So we start with carbon first. Carbon has 4 valence electrons and all items around it hanya ada 1, 2, 3, 4 dash. Maknanya 4 item. So 4 minus 4 equals to 0. Same case for oxygen A. On our left side, saya ada OA di mana O mempunyai 6 valence electron and then dia akan minus dengan 1 dan kita ada 6 dots. Totalnya adalah 7. So 6 minus 7 equals to negative 1. And due to the same position for A and B, the calculation will be the same. And the formal charge for OB will be negative 1 as well. And last but not least, OC, we got 6 valence electrons for carbon and we have 6 items here, 4 dots and 2 dash. So 6 minus 6, it will be 0. You total up all the formal charges, you will have negative 2 is the total formal charge for CO3 2 minus. So this is equivalent to the sum of formal charge of all atoms in Lewis structure for anion equals to its negative charge. Maknanya kita ada negative charge, negative 2. Formal charge mesti dapat nilai yang sama dengan negative 2 here. So our calculation is proven. Now, don't forget to label the formal charge that you got from here on each atom dalam awak punya Lewis structure. So your final answer will be just like this. Next one, we will go to example 4 where I have ICl2+. So this is the Lewis structure for ICl2+. I already drew for you. And now I'm going to calculate using the same simple formula based on all items around that specific atom. So I'm going to divide Cla and Clb due to the same, and then we are going to calculate starting from iodine. So iodine has 7 valence electrons and all items around it adalah 6. So 7 minus 6, we will have positive 1 as the formal charge for iodine. The next one for Cla, I got 7 valence electrons for chlorine minus with 7 items around it, I will have 0. And the same goes for Clb, which is 7 minus 7, we will have 0 for the formal charge of chlorine atom B. And now, total up all the formal charges, we will have positive 1 as our total formal charge. And from here, we can say that for cation, the sum of formal charges should be same or equals to its positive charge here. So I will have the same value. So now it is also proven for ICl2+. And the final answer you should put is the formal charge on each atom. Once you put the green one, you will get the mark. So that's all how to calculate the formal charge. For the next video, I'm going to teach you how to determine the most plausible Lewis structure by using formal charge. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!